Today I got a really special and kind of neat video for you guys. So we got a bunch of lobster behind us. Brook and I just got done diving. So we got some Florida Spiny lobster, and the other day I went up to Sebastian Inlet and I got into a mess of fish. We got redfish, snook, Goliath grouper, all sorts of stuff. And I actually kept the redfish. I'm gonna make it on the half shell, but I wanted to combine this video with lobster because I'm at Brook's house right now. I'm about to whip some redfish on the grill. What are you gonna make, Brook?
I'm gonna make lobster, and I'm also going to cook the legs and the knuckles, not just the tails. So that's something that we normally don't really do that much of, so that should be good.
You're gonna get to see some fishing, you're gonna get to see some diving, but before we move on, I gotta give a huge shout out to Brookie right here, guys. This is my girlfriend. She is this close to 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah, very close.
And if you guys like my content, you're gonna love hers. She does a lot of good stuff. Go down to the description box, hit the subscribe button to Brook's channel. Don't think about doing it, just do it right now, and I'll see you guys on the water.
Thanks.
So this particular lobster was giving Brian and I a run for our money and just making us look like fools underwater. But he finally slipped up and got himself into a rock that I stuck my hand under. He couldn't get out. There was one way in and out. Grabbed him by the knuckles and just ripped him out of there. And it turned out to be a keeper, which was nice. Though, he buried himself into a hole that was too easy to get around.
Every time, but I just wouldn't be fast enough.
Thank you. I got it with 2 lobster. Alright, Joey's gonna try to net us some bait.
Should be pretty hard today.
Got him. Let's say you got a few.
Yeah.
So you let half of them go?
Yeah.
You don't need that many? Here. These smaller ones, these are perfect for the slot size reds. Alright, see if we can't get a slot red. So what Joey and I are doing is, it's incoming tide, casting our mullet out, not too big of a weight, so it's just enough to roll. And it's kind of rolling with the tide. You guys can see that edge of where there's current and kind of still water, you want to be right on the outside edge of that. That's where I got hit at least.
I'm anchored up.
There it is.
Here.
Again, dropped it.
And like probably right around where we are.
There's something small. Small red. Come on.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
That's not a bad one.
No?
Redfish.
All right. Target species acquired. That one's got a nice blue tail. These things can be between 18 to 27 inches, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to get the most bang for your buck. This guy's probably in the lower 20s.
Yeah.
So you really ideally want a 26, 25 inch red, but look at how pretty these fish are. Blue tail. You got a spot.
Like start it on this, put the nose right here. There you go. 4 inches, 8, 12, 16, 20, 21 and a half or so.
21 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do dinners, I mean, nothing wrong with them.
I guess we should keep them. You
Yeah.
might not catch another one the rest of the day.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got our catch and cook. Now we got to get the jetty giants. Decided to keep them probably right around 21, 22 inches according to the grates.
There you go.
And honestly, guys, very pretty fish. They got a really funny mouth. Look at that. See how it protrudes down? It's funny to watch these things come up on top when they're during the mullet run. They'll come up and eat mullet on top, and they got a downward facing mouth, so it's always kind of awkward when they do it, you know? 35. Oh, I think that's a fish. There we go. Yeah. Really? Mine's gonna be way under. Little snook. You need to be a lot bigger to keep, buddy. Oh, he came on hook. Little snook. I did it. All right, guys, so it is time to fillet this redfish up. And you guys notice, this is actually a smaller slot size red. They can be between 18 to 27 inches to keep. So I went ahead and kept this one because you never know if you're gonna catch a bigger one. Ideally, you want like a 26, 27 incher, which Brooke actually caught a big slot red last week. And the way I'm gonna do it is on the half shell. So what that means is I'm gonna be cooking them with the skin and scales on. And I'm gonna grill them. Never done it before, but I'm very excited. So a little anatomy for you guys. Like I said, it's a redfish, also called a red drum. And these are seriously one of the coolest fish just because of the way they look. So they do a lot of bottom feeding. They eat a lot of crabs, crustaceans. As you guys see, they have this downward facing mouth. And so many people know a redfish because of this tail, this unmistakable tail, which a lot of people think that it's for predators to mistake, so they go for the tail instead of the head, or it might spook fish. And you'll see a lot of photos and just logos with the redfish's tail. That's their signature feature. And what they'll do a lot on the flats and in the marshes, they'll be head down with their tail up, and they're always looking for crabs and stuff. So let's get to filleting this guy. I'm gonna start on this side, work my way down, making constant contact with his backbone. Just like that. I'm gonna get to the other side. Go like that. And now, what I like to do, same thing, repeat it, is making constant contact. And then always, I find the trickiest part of a fish is just around this rib cage, not to go through it, just glide below. And there you have it. Got a beautiful redfish fillet. And so traditionally, half shell style, as Brooke made in her last video, we're gonna cook it with the skin and scales on, directly on the grill. All the flavors and everything are gonna be sealed in right here, and then you just cook it on that one side. So we got one slab off, let's get the other side off. Okay, so let's do the other side now. Find our head meat right there. Excuse me. Go down like that. So this can be a little bit awkward because they got a broad head. I like to line it right on the side of the fillet table. So now that we're on this side of the fillet, for me, my leverage, my angle, it's better to go from the tail up to the head now. Repeat the same thing. Okay, now we just gotta get right around these bones right here. There you go. 2 beautiful fillets. 1 from each side. Now let's see what's in his belly. Feel something crunchy.
Crab?
Yeah, definitely feeling crabby. Oh yeah, there's a crab in there. See? I like it when I tell you guys about something then it's actually true. You guys know that I'm not making it up. So this is actually what I call a calico crab. You guys see those spots right there? I don't know the proper term for it. I call it a calico. It's not actually calico, but it looks like that could just be one. But you guys see the shells? There's a little bit of claws right there. Smaller crab. I caught this guy on a finger mullet, which is what they're feeding on right now. But it's cool to see that they're actually feeding on crabs at the inlet too. And then we got this bone that runs down the center line. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out since we're gonna be cooking it. And then this right here is kind of like the belly meat. I'm gonna try to go underneath it. Like that. See if we can get under here and get this bone out. Okay. These guys got some big, thick scales for little fish. I mean, real meaty scales. These are definitely tough fish. It reminds me of that one that my buddy Dave caught at the inlet, and it had a giant gash missing out of him, which goes to show you that they can survive shark attacks. I mean, getting beaten up on the rocks. They live in some pretty rugged environments. And you could eat around this, but why not just take it out if it's easily accessible like that? So our redfish is going on the ice. All right, guys, so since I am not making the lobster, I just want Brooke real quick to show you guys, if you do catch a lobster, the proper way to clean one. And all this black stuff she's squirting off, that is lobster blood.
Trying to squirt off.
This stuff is like cement if you let it dry. Don't ever let it dry. It's really nasty stuff.
But you can take the antennas and go like this. Scrub it off. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do, well, since I'm cooking the legs and knuckles, I'm gonna break off these legs first, which these lobsters are dead, so don't worry about that. I'm going to break off the tip of the antenna because that's what we're going to use to clean the lobster. And that noise you hear is when lobsters, they'll take their antennas like this and they'll try to scare off predators by moving their antennas. They'll move the tips of their antennas, and while doing that, they make this noise.
And then so when we go and we try to stick our hands into the rocks or a tickle stick, they do the exact same thing to us, don't they?
Yep, they make that noise, and that's how you know that you found one. Or even if you're like 20 feet away, if you hear this noise underwater, you know that one of your buddies has a lobster. Yeah. And you turn around and you're like, who got one? And then I'm also breaking off the knuckles, which you want a good pair of gloves to do this, because they're hard to break off and they got tons of spines and they're really sharp. And then you're gonna take your tail and your head, twist, get rid of this piece. Now you take the end of the tip of your antenna, the bigger side, stick it into their digestive tract, which is their butt, twist it, and it will pull out a digestive tract just like that, and that's all you have to do to clean this lobster, and it is ready to eat.
So we got a pot full of tails and knuckles and legs. I want to use this platform for good, and one thing that I really want to address is the fact that you guys, if you're thinking about coming to the east coast of Florida regarding red tide, don't let it scare you. We've been on the beach, we've been diving, we've been fishing for the last 2 weeks on multiple beaches all the way from Fort Lauderdale to Sebastian. There's no red tide. There may have been red tide for 48 hours, 72 hours, but the news loves to exaggerate and just, they want a news story. So please actually check your facts and your sources, because you know it does hurt tourism, and I want to definitely voice the truth out there to you guys. So don't be naive and check your facts. All right guys, we knocked the sides off of the redfish. I'm actually going to film a separate video right now, a moonfish catch and cook. But before we move on to the cooking section, I just wanted to remind you guys, all the Land Shark shirts, all the original logo Land Shark shirts available in ice blue, seafoam, and white are actually on sale. Check it out in the description box below. Now let's go whip up something good in the kitchen. Voiceover Vic coming at you guys. Hope you enjoyed that just kind of double feature catch and cook. So whenever I go on trips, like take for example the Sebastian trip, I try to capitalize and make as many videos as possible, as many species, but sometimes if I don't get enough footage, what I'll do is I'll combine it with another day, as you guys saw with the lobster. So what we're doing today is redfish on the half shell with a creamy tomato and zucchini pasta. So I got some vine ripe tomatoes, I cut up about 5 of them, some zucchini, and then garlic. This was almost a whole head of garlic, but Brooke was also using the garlic for her recipe as well. So I got my tomatoes chopped up. I got a little pan of olive oil heating up on medium heat. I'm going to cook my zucchini and my garlic first, get my zucchini a little bit of brown, and just soften it up a little bit before I add my tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy just cook for a little bit. And as you guys see there, it's about 5 minutes later. And then now we go ahead and add our freshly chopped tomatoes. And I think fresh tomatoes make all the difference in the world, especially when it comes to sauces and stuff. And I just really love the taste of fresh tomatoes. I went ahead and brought it all up to a boil, and then I covered it with a sauce lid. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let this guy steam out, really just break those tomatoes down and just get a nice juice going. So as far as our redfish are concerned, I wanted to do it on the half shell, as I told you guys, on the grill, because Brooke made it and it was so good. I went ahead and patted my fillets dry, and for this to work, you gotta have your skin and scales intact, because that's gonna be kind of, picture it as your pan or your tinfoil. It's nature's pan, essentially. And you're gonna cook it on the skin side down. I went ahead and rubbed our fillets with some olive oil and just thoroughly get it in there, get it in all the creases and stuff. I'm gonna keep it simple and just make blackened redfish, which is pretty much the signature way to make it. And I'm telling you guys right now, this blackened seasoning is the best. That bottle that I just showed you guys, it is just the perfect blend of spice and heat and everything. And I've tried a lot of different blackened seasonings. It is by far my favorite. There is Brooke's pile of lobster legs and knuckles. She's going ahead and making those. And so what I'm gonna do is I got my grill on around medium heat, and I put it on the skin side down, and I don't touch it. I let these guys just go, and I'm pretty sure I cooked them for about 15 minutes. Now going back into the kitchen, I got my rigatoni pasta. You guys see my sauce is developing right there, and I took about 2 to 3 ladlefuls of my juicy starch water to kind of give my sauce just some more body. And I also added an entire container of this heavy cream, and this was 8 ounces of it. And this is actually for a lot of people. We had 5 people and we had a ton of leftovers. I made 2 boxes of pasta. I wish I only made 1, because then my sauce would have went a lot further and wouldn't have been as diluted. But a really, really simple way to make a pasta sauce, just the zucchini, the tomato. Okay, let's go back outside. We got our redfish, and this is what it looks like after about 10 minutes. I checked on it. So this is 5 minutes out from being done, and I added just a couple of sticks of butter. Not all of the butter stays on your fillets, a lot of it will drip down, but I just, you know, when you make a baked potato and you kind of want the butter to seep in, it's kind of that same theory. I want as much of the butter to seep into the fillets as possible. Now for our rigatoni, I went ahead and drained it, and I'm putting my entire batch of sauce, that zucchini, creamy tomato sauce, in there, mixed it up. This is our redfish after the 15 minutes, and it is so good, and I'm telling you what, after making it on the half shell, I think I'm going to try it with mutton or any other fish with really big scales, maybe even grouper. I think as long as it has thick enough skin, you can definitely make it in that style. This is Brooke's little bit of lobster. She made it with some lemon garlic butter. She also made some broccoli and mushroom, which was delicious. So we got a very good feast of redfish, lobster, broccoli, mushroom, pasta. It's safe to say we ate good this night. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I thought it was a great way to put together 2 different days, 2 different meals. And as always, I'll be seeing all you guys, my land sharks, in that next video.